Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I'm joined by the beautiful Hannah of Hannah.N.Wonderland. I have to say the dots because that is how it's supposed to be. But Hannah, how you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing very well now. I'm so glad to have you here. But Hannah, before we talk about why you're here, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. You are a very curious and always falling down rabbit holes that you share online, as well as a lot of things online connected by stories. You put up cute little stories in your adult coloring book. So I want to touch on that for a second. What gave you the idea to do adult coloring books?
I actually originally, like way back whenever I wanted to start my channel, and this is still a goal of mine, I was gonna do like spooky children's books, kind of like series of unfortunate event vibes. But then the first story I wrote was about burnout, and that felt more like an adult story. So I made an adult coloring book to try to keep it like inner child work vibes, but still be able to put the story about burnout, which I think more adults experience.
Sure. And all of us, I think, at some point or another have come across something like that for sure. Um, but you also share wild true crime stories on your YouTube channel in a series called Why the F Would You Do That? And you share your poetry on YouTube and your personal stories on Instagram. So I know you guys are thinking right now, well, how the hell am I going to get to those so quick? Very easily, because those links are right down in the description. So make sure you're subscribing to her on YouTube. Make sure you're following her on Instagram. That's how we connected. So, what made you want to actually start doing the YouTube channel to focus on such wild true crime stories?
I'm very into like mental health and I love true crime, so I kind of just combine the two, like kind of what makes people do those things, how did we get here, like what's their story kind of deal.
Yeah. And what do you remember when you decided to do it as a YouTube channel?
Oh, right. Sorry. I've just always loved YouTube, and that's kind of what my account is about. Like for a long time I just didn't do much of anything due to burnout. Like I just worked, came home, worked, came home. So a YouTube channel is just always something I wanted to do, so I just started it.
I love it. And like I said, guys, you don't have to go far for it. It's right in the description, but also on Instagram. So, what made you decide to start? Because a lot of us use Instagram, obviously, for personal reasons and stuff like that. But what made you want to start creating through Instagram as well to use that as an outlet?
It was just what I used most commonly at the time, and I started it, and then I found a really great community, so I wanted to expand to YouTube because that was always one of my little silly goals, little bucket list item.
Well, and you're doing a great job. Like I
Thank
said, we came
you.
across each other, and I knew that I wanted to work with you. So,
I'm
we
so
had a lot of
excited
the
you
same
asked me.
beliefs. Well, yeah, me and you share a lot of the same beliefs when it comes to I'm trying to say this without getting political, but we share a lot of the same beliefs when it comes to human rights and stuff like that. So I thought that it would be awesome to try to get you out there a little bit and be able to meet you and hang out with you for a little while. So in order for you to talk about true crime and do anything horror related, horror had to start for you somewhere. So Hannah, I would like to go back to the past and talk about what got you started in the horror genre, your first horror movie. And Hannah, the first horror movie you watched was
Bride of Chucky.
what a fantastic start to your horror life. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. So obviously, huge fan. For people that don't know Ken Sledge as a person, Child's Play is my favorite horror franchise. Absolutely, hands down, bar none, my favorite horror franchise. And Bride of Chucky is my wife's favorite in the franchise. So I love talking about this movie any chance I get. So, do you remember about how old you were the first time you had seen it, Hannah?
Yeah, I think I was in like fourth grade and I wasn't supposed to be watching it. My dad was watching it and I was kind of like peeking over and I saw Tiffany Valentine and my mind was like blown. She's so gorgeous.
She is Jennifer Tilly is so beautiful. I've said this before, one of my bucket list items because she's a huge poker player. I just want to play poker with Jennifer Tilly
Oh my
one time.
gosh,
Like that would
that's
be
amazing.
yeah, so cool. So we know you were quite young watching it with your father for the first time, behind the couch so that way he didn't catch you.
Hmm.
But do you remember which scene it was that affected you the most?
Just that first introduction to her, I just hadn't really like, I grew up in a very conservative area, so I had never seen like a woman like that, and I was just like, whoa, like I'm definitely like girls too. Like that was that confirmed it for me. I
This,
loved her
this is
so
making me feel
much.
some type of way. And you're right, because when you have her there in that bathtub, and she's got the bubbles, and she's watching Bride of Frankenstein, and she's drinking her champagne. Oh
Mm-hmm.
man, what an amazing moment! It's ruined, unfortunately, by that dickhead Chucky throwing the TV in there. But man, I think that uh, Child's Play 1, 2, and 3. Most people love 1 and 2. Me personally, 3 is my favorite, even though I know it's a polarizing film and not a lot of people like it. But that was super formulaic at that point. So they needed something to come in and break that formula. And I think Jennifer Tilly was the perfect thing to come in and break that formula and bring us something completely new. So I will always have a mad love and mad respect for Bride of Chucky because it definitely took what we loved, flipped it on its head a little bit, and completely changed the story around. So we know which scene affected you the most, but do you have a favorite scene from Bride of Chucky?
I think whenever they're just like the climax, like where they're driving down and the van and the camper van and she's like burning the cookies and she's all melted. I thought that looked like so crazy and because she wanted to be Martha Stewart the whole movie. So I thought it was like really cool that she was like all melted trying to bake the cookies and I thought the little dolls were so funny.
Oh, and especially when we're kids,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah. As a kid, that was like so hilarious and honestly really scary. Like now that I was just rewatching it the other day because I knew we were gonna talk about it, and it just made me want to rewatch it. But yeah, whenever I was a kid, it was genuinely scary. Now it's like more funny, but I was terrified as a
see, and
child
that's
when I
what I
watched it.
love, like especially when we're kids and you see these things that genuinely scare the shit out of you, and then you
Mm-hmm.
grow up and you watch them again, and you're like, how the hell was I so scared of this?
Yeah.
We've gotten to the point to where we don't feel it anymore, to a certain
Mm-hmm.
extent. So we're like just numb to the
Mm-hmm.
fear, and it's sad, but at the same time, it's pretty rad to go back and watch these movies from when we were kids and to see how incredible that they really are. So, as horror fans, we do like to live vicariously through the kills. We love watching the kills in the movies, and Bride of Chucky has some fucking awesome kills in this movie. So, Hannah, what would you say your favorite kill from Bride of Chucky is?
I think the first guy because I thought he was really annoying. And like the first guy that Jennifer Tilly's character Tiffany
Oh, when she
Valentine
rips
whenever
the.
yeah, just
Mhm.
the way he's all like fried and then him having him in the box I thought was like that was the first I was a kid. I'd never seen any like murder type stuff. I was like, "Oh my God, she's so cool. That's so crazy that she's being so calm and like that she like had him in that thing." I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. And that guy, like I said, when Chucky rips out the stuff and then puts the pillow over his face, you're just like, oh man. Like even just that lip ring rip, it's just
The
like,
struggle,
oh,
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
oh.
yeah.
Like, it's definitely gnarly as hell. So, obviously, Child's Play, like we said, is a big franchise. It's a big franchise player now. It even has a TV show that had 3 seasons that just recently got canceled, unfortunately. But of all the franchise, what would you say is your favorite installment in the Child's Play franchise?
So I really as far as horror movies, I'm very like cherry picky. I really I watched the remake with Aubrey Plaza. I watched Bride of Chucky, which made me go back and watch the first one. I actually really liked the one where they had a kid, even though it was like really odd. Seed of Chucky. So those are my two favorite. I didn't end up watching the show. I was like, I do this stupid thing where I get like way too excited for stuff, and then I don't end up like watching it. I don't know, but yeah, I really like both the ones that have Tiffany Valentine in them. I think Jennifer does such a good job, and I think they're just funny. I really like how they kind of made fun of the last one in the
Yeah.
original one, and I like whenever she's like calling to make amends about murdering, and she thinks
Yeah.
she's like doing the best. I also have this. I wanted to show you. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, that's so dope. So dope. Yeah. See, because Ashley Ashley's a huge fan too, so we just got this one. And of course, you're not gonna be able to see it. Uh,
Oh no, I can't.
maybe if we do the back,
Oh, okay,
try to move
okay.
it
I
a
see it.
little
I
bit.
see it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like black and white with the blood splatter on it.
I
We got
love
Chucky
that.
and Tiffany like that. Um, I just think that I don't know what it is. There's just something about them that's just so inherently scary, but also at the same time, it's inherently romantic. Like, yeah, their relationship is built on murder and all this stuff, but like they really love each other. And I'm just saying, if you're a big fan of Tiffany, and especially Seed of Chucky, I think that you'll really like the TV show, especially seasons 1 and 2.
I
Um,
need to just make myself get over the weird thing and watch it. And I'm now like obsessed. Like as I got older, became obsessed with Harley Quinn, and I think Tiffany Valentine like set the stage for that because it's
yeah,
that same kind of relationship.
badassery. But she especially like I said in the TV show, they do because my biggest problem with Seed of Chucky was the trans representation. I didn't feel like that aged very well.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the TV show, Glenn and Glenda have been separated into they're still they them, but they're still separated into two different people. And so you have Glenn and Glenda, and the actor that did it is amazing. Like they did a phenomenal job playing both roles, and I think you'll really dig it. They do a lot of references to Bride and Seed of Chucky. Jennifer Tilly's back to being a huge character in the show again. So,
Okay, you've convinced
if
me.
you get the chance, you got to watch it and let me know what you think.
Yeah,
So,
I totally will tell
um,
you what I think for sure.
so what? While we're on the subject though, because you did mention it, what did you think of the remake with Aubrey Plaza?
Um, I liked it. I thought it was cool that the kid kind of got to be like a hero in it. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was really cool. I thought Aubrey Plaza did a good job. I really just think I'm in it for Tiffany Valentine. I was just kind of like not so excited. I didn't feel like there was a ton of Easter eggs or anything. I was a little disappointed about that.
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't bad, but it needs Tiffany.
See, and it's funny because everybody hates that movie, and like we've told the story on the podcast before. I was like, I'm not watching it. There's no way because I'm a Chucky purist, and I love Don Mancini. And when I found out Don Mancini wasn't having anything to do with it, I was like, no, I'm good. My wife made me watch it, and I fucking loved it. I was like, this movie's so good. Like the kills are brutal. The doll is funny. The idea of the AI coming to life, I thought was great, and the fact that it wasn't just like this rogue AI, somebody had planted it. Like this angry guy that was getting fired had taken his own life and planted this to make it like that. It was the
Mm.
perfect storm for me. I hated the way the doll looked. Um,
That,
and if it was up
yeah,
to
I thought that
me,
could have been much better.
yeah. If I was a part of that marketing team, what I would have done is been like, listen, we're not going to call this Child's Play. We're going to call this Buddy from the world of Child's Play. That way it's still taking place in the same
Mm.
universe, but maybe we could have gotten a Buddy and a Chucky crossover. We could have got a Buddy Bear movie. Like, there's so many amazing things we could have gotten if they had that one little fucking tweak. Like, that's all they had to do
I
was
think
tweak
my
that one thing.
expectations would have been way different because I really watched it in the theater and then never watched it again because I just love Aubrey Plaza. But I think you're right. I would have definitely gone in with lower expectations and I probably would have enjoyed it more because like you said, it wasn't a bad movie. The acting and the storyline was actually pretty good horror movie wise. So
And that's how I feel. Like again, I'm a Chucky purist guy, so it's not like I'm like, oh, whatever, it's fun. No, the movie was fine. I just wish that it had a different title. You didn't have to name the doll Chucky. Like you didn't have to, because Mark Hamill did a great job voicing that doll. Like a great job voicing the doll. You didn't have to do Brad Dourif again because Brad Dourif is still there. So I'm going to go off on a tangent. So we talked about Bride of Chucky, Hannah, and what that movie means to you being your first horror movie. But here for a second, my little buddy Ghostface is here, and he has a question for you.
okay.
What's your favorite scary movie, Hannah? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
I think like because with the newer ones, oh gosh, I have three that I'm
Okay.
like really tied for, and I like them for different reasons. Terrifier just made me uncomfortable, the newest one, and then Pearl for just like everything, like kills, story, character. I love the world that they created, and then oh my gosh, Companion. I just saw that one, so I think maybe that's why it's like more fresh in my mind. I wish they wouldn't have given so much away in the trailer. I really, if it's probably too late
I
at this
haven't seen
point,
it.
but
Yeah,
for
I
okay,
haven't
go,
seen it.
please don't watch the trailer.
Yep, I
Please just
didn't
go
watch
in
it.
blind.
A buddy of mine called me because we usually do trailer reactions on our channel. Buddy of mine called me, was like, dude, don't watch the companion trailer. Don't read any spoilers. It will suck if you do that. So I
See,
haven't watched
I
the
didn't,
trailer,
and my
but
mind
haven't seen the
was
movie.
blown. But then I went back and watched the trailer, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So
Yeah.
yeah, don't. But it and it's surprisingly, the kills are surprisingly crazy. Like it's a really good movie.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see it. Again, it's just we just haven't had the time, honestly, is what the
Oh
problem
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
I
Like it's
get
just
you.
one of those things where we try, we want to, but then you're talking about like Terrifier 3, like, oh my God, like everybody that's a part of that film, like, don't get me wrong, David Howard Thornton, is amazing as Art the Clown. Like he is the best. I think he's amazing. But man, like Jonathan, Sienna, like everybody, they're just the perfect storm of casting. That I think is the perfectly casted indie horror movie where if you take one of them out of the equation, the house of cards falls.
Yeah,
I
that
think
kid,
that
you're just rooting for him. He's so like adorable.
I
Like
love
they picked
Jonathan.
a really, really good kid.
He is, and he's. We got to meet him in person at a horror convention. He was just a
What? That's
sweetheart. He
so
was so
cool.
kind and so. I can't. All of them. David. I haven't got to meet Lauren yet, but David is one of those guys that like. It's so funny that he plays a mute character because when you meet him, he doesn't stop talking, and it's amazing.
I
Like, and
love
he just.
that.
It's so interesting to hear everything he has to say because he's just such a well-spoken, extremely intelligent, very, very big horror fan. Like his horror trivia is through the freaking roof. Like I can't stress enough. If you get the chance to go to a convention around you and any of the Terrifier people are there, Amelie McLean, who played the little pale girl, her and her mother are very good friends of ours. We became very close with them.
Wow, that's
They are
amazing.
so amazing. So if you get the chance to go to a convention, please, please do. I promise you, you won't regret it. They're the sweetest, kindest people you could ever hope to meet.
I love that.
Yeah.
Every
So
all the horror people I've met are so kind. I'm like everybody's so cool in this community. I love it.
I think what it is we all grew up fucking weirdos. You know, like we're different. So we
Yep.
found people that are the same as us. And we're like, we want to be close. We want to be friends. We want to make sure
Mhm.
that, we're all on the same wavelength because that's how we grew up. We grew up as the fucking weird kids.
Yep.
So now we're like, hey, people like the same shit as us. We're not that weird.
Mm,
So that's why I love this community too. And you have
me
like
too.
Robert England, Kane Hodder, these people that play the nastiest killers. You meet them and you're like, I love this person. Like, I want to give you my hand in marriage. Like that's how much I love you. So, um, Hannah, I have had an amazing time talking to you about your first horror movie, your favorite horror movies, and things like that. But before I let you go, we always go back to the same question. We're going to bounce back to Bride of Chucky. And what we're going to do, Hannah, is rank this movie on a skull count. Now, we're not ranking it on acting, production, score, direction, nothing like that. We're not being critics. All we're doing, Hannah, is ranking this movie on how much it affected you on your first viewing. So, zero skulls being not effective, five being extremely effective. You can use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. Hannah, what would your ranking of Bride of Chucky be?
I mean, I would say 5. I was forever changed.
It started you down the path to where you are now. And I think that's absolutely amazing. So I know I said it at the beginning, guys, but we're at the end of the third act. The credits are about to roll and the curtain's about to drop. But before that happens, make sure you're clicking the links down in the description. Make sure you're following Hannah on social media. Make sure you're subscribing to her YouTube channel so you can become a part of her family as well. Hannah, please don't go anywhere. I got a couple more questions for you. Everyone else, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.